huge explosion shakes Beirut as Israel launches more strikes. France urges halt to deliveries of weapons to Israel. Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. This is World Today. With me, I'm Renee Fong. 5 Israeli strikes hit South Beirut and its outskirts, with 4 of them were very violent strikes on southern suburbs, while another strike hit the Chuafat area. In one South Beirut location, a ball of flame rose into the air while flares shot up amid thick smoke for about an hour. In the Sabra area close to Beirut's southern suburbs, dozens of people on the streets carried bags, fleeing on foot or on motorbikes as explosions echoed in the background. Air traffic at Lebanon's only airport in Beirut, close to the targeted areas, was ongoing despite the Israeli aggression on the southern suburbs. Earlier, the Israeli army announced a new call for residents to evacuate from Beirut's southern suburbs as it continued to target Hezbollah positions in the Lebanese capital. Lebanon's Hezbollah group and Israel have been exchanging a near daily cross-border fire for nearly a year in fallout from the Gaza war. But since 23rd September, Israel has launched devastating airstrikes on targets in Lebanon that have killed more than 1,110 people and forced over 1 million to flee their homes. Meanwhile, French President Emmanuel Macron said shipments of arms used in the conflict in Gaza and Lebanon should be stopped as part of a broader effort to find a political solution. Macron stressed that it was not consistent for parties to call for a ceasefire yet continue providing weapons of war. In closing remarks at a summit of French-speaking nations, where a unanimous statement of solidarity with Lebanon and a call for a halt to fighting was issued, Macron said the coming days are decisive in obtaining a ceasefire and continuing humanitarian work. Macron also announced that France will host an international conference this month to help drum up humanitarian aid for Lebanon and strengthen security in the southern part of the country.
Nous avons dit notre solidarité avec le Liban. Nous sommes exprimés unanimement en faveur d'un cessez-le-feu immédiat et durable et avons dit notre engagement pour la désescalade des tensions dans la région. Nous voulons la paix et la sécurité pour tous. Je remercie notamment nos partenaires de l'OIF d'avoir approuvé l'organisation par la France d'une conférence internationale de soutien au Liban qui se tiendra ce mois d'octobre.
Thousands of protesters marched in cities around the world calling for a ceasefire in Gaza and Lebanon as the war in the Palestinian territory neared the 1-year mark. Kicking off a planned wave of demonstrations worldwide, pro-Palestinian supporters gathered in cities in Europe, Africa and the Americas to demand an end to the conflict, which has killed nearly 42,000 people in Gaza. A pro-Palestinian protest in Rome that drew thousands of people turned violent as dozens of young demonstrators threw bottles and firecrackers at police who responded with tear gas and water cannon. At least one policeman was wounded and 2 protesters were detained. At the National March for Palestine in London, chants of "Stop bombing civilians" were joined by shouts of "Hands off Lebanon." While the rally in London was largely peaceful, at least 15 people were arrested, including 3 on suspicion of assaulting an emergency worker and 1 on suspicion of supporting a proscribed organization. In Madrid, around 5,000 people joined a pro-Palestinian protest, brandishing signs with messages such as "Boycott Israel," with Israel now mounting a ground operation in Lebanon and vowing to respond to a barrage of missiles fired by Iran this week. There are fears of conflict could spiral into a wider war. Over 80 police personnel have been injured in clashes with supporters of jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan taking part in a march near Islamabad. Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi said the march, which is being led by the head of the northwestern province of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, aims to gather in the capital defying a ban on congregations to press for Khan's release and agitate against the ruling coalition. The convoy led by the Chief Minister fired on the police and continuously used tear gas against law enforcers. While the convoy was heavily armed, the police had been instructed not to carry weapons to prevent the situation from escalating. Mohsin said more than 80 police officers had been treated for injuries since Friday when clashes broke out just outside the city during an anti-government rally. Authorities have sealed off Islamabad and blocked cell phone services to prevent the gathering. Islamabad is on high alert ahead of a series of top-level diplomatic events scheduled over the next 2 weeks, including a visit by India's Foreign Minister Subramaniam Jaishankar. Russian forces said they had captured another village in eastern Ukraine as Kiev said 5 civilians were killed by Russian shelling in the south and east. The Defense Ministry said Russian forces captured the settlement of Zeland Drudge in Ukraine's Donetsk region. The village is located close to Pokrovsk, a logistics hub for the Ukrainian army that is threatened by the advance of Russian troops. Prosecutors in the Donetsk region said 2 civilians, a 65-year-old woman and an 86-year-old man, were killed in the city of Tortsk and the village of Velika Novosilka. In the Zaporizhia region, Governor Ivan Fyodorov said 2 men aged 44 and 46 were killed by Russian shelling in the village of Mala Tokmaksha. Prosecutors in Kharkiv region, meanwhile, said a 49-year-old man died when the car he was driving was hit by a Russian drone. Russia launched its Ukraine offensive in February 2022 and currently occupies 18% of the country. Preparations are underway for Laos to host the 44th and 45th ASEAN summits and related meetings, with authorities across several sectors preparing to welcome leaders and delegates attending the meetings. Some 2,000 delegates and about 1,000 journalists from Laos and other countries are expected to attend the more than 20 meetings which will convene in Lao capital Vientiane from 8 to 11th October under the theme ASEAN Enhancing Connectivity and Resilience. The meetings will be attended by heads of state and government from ASEAN member countries, dialogue partner countries and external partner countries, as well as representatives of regional and international organizations. Laos's Ministry of Public Security organized a training session for traffic police officers in efforts to ensure tight security during the meetings. The Lao Ministry of Education and Sports on Thursday announced the temporary closure of 497 schools in Vientiane during the period of ASEAN meetings to ease traffic congestion. The closures are intended to facilitate smooth travel for international delegations and high-level officials attending the events. Indonesian President Joko Widodo has called on the Indonesian National Army TNI to remain vigilant and prepared as the nation faces escalating global challenges, including rapid technological advancements, increasing cyber threats and rising geopolitical tensions. Speaking at the TNI 79th anniversary ceremony in central Jakarta, Jokowi highlighted the evolving nature of modern conflicts, which now extend beyond traditional warfare to encompass economic and trade disputes. He stressed the importance of cooperation, urging the TNI to work closely with law enforcement agencies to ensure stability and partner with industry leaders to strengthen Indonesia's domestic defense sector. As Jokowi prepares to hand over power to Defence Minister General Prabowo Subianto on 20th October, he thanked the latter for efforts in modernising military equipment, promoting the country's defence industry and enhancing defence diplomacy. Jokowi expressed gratitude for the commitment of TNI personnel, acknowledging their vital role in safeguarding the country's sovereignty and maintaining political stability during his decade-long tenure. Still ahead, Democratic Republic of Congo launches Mpox vaccination drive. The Democratic Republic of Congo, the epicenter of an Mpox epidemic, has launched a vaccination campaign against the virus in the eastern city of Goma. The launch, initially scheduled for last Wednesday, was delayed by 3 days amid logistical difficulties delivering the vaccines across the sprawling infrastructure-poor Central African country. The first vaccines were administered to hospital staff, with the program due to target the general population from tomorrow in the east of the country, where the current outbreak started a year ago. Local health officials and non-governmental organization workers had set up large tents to administer the vaccines. The aim was to target priority groups such as those with existing health conditions and medical workers. The Democratic Republic of Congo has so far received 265,000 vaccine doses, including donations from the United States and European Union. But it is still waiting for millions more promised doses to arrive from France, Japan, and the United States. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has returned to the rural Pennsylvania site where he was nearly assassinated, rallying a large crowd in the critical battleground state 1 month before the November election. The crowd appeared to be in the tens of thousands, many wearing Trump regalia.
Exactly 12 weeks ago this evening on this very ground, a cold-blooded assassin aimed to silence me and to silence the greatest movement, MAGA, in the history of our country. MAGA. We love MAGA. For 16 harrowing seconds during the gunfire, time stopped as this vicious monster unleashed pure evil from his sniper's perch, not so far away. But by the hand of Providence and the grace of God, that villain did not succeed in his goal, did not come close.
The incident on 13th July was the first of 2 attempts on Trump's life. On 15th September, a gunman hit undetected for nearly 12 hours at Trump's golf course in West Palm Beach, Florida, with plans to kill him, but was thwarted by a U.S. Secret Service agent patrolling the course ahead of Trump.
Vote, vote, vote.
1 week after Helen slammed into the Florida Panhandle and devastated wide swaths of half a dozen states, thousands remained cut off around Asheville, North Carolina, with many roads impassable and telecommunications and power equipment damaged or destroyed. A power substation near the Swannanoa River in Biltmore Village was reportedly flooded completely. It was reported that repairs to the substation would take 3 to 4 months, with Duke Energy is installing a mobile substation in the meantime. According to the Duke Energy outage map, more than 140,000 customers in North Carolina are without power. Elsewhere along the river, multiple vehicles remained stuck in the water, with downed trees and power lines fallen on the banks. Helen, which has killed more than 200 people, ranks as the most deadly named storm to hit the mainland United States since Katrina. Rescuers' dogs threw rubble in the village of Donja Jablanica in search for people who went missing in Bosnia's deadliest floods in years that hit the Balkan country. The cantonal government official, Darko Juka, told reporters that after compiling all data, the government concluded 13 people had died in Jablanica area, 70 kilometers southwest of Sarajevo. Excavators removed rubble to uncover cars and houses as rescuers stood by to see if there are any survivors. Bosnian media also reported that heavy rain overnight halted search but was resumed as soon as the rain had stopped. The floods follow an unprecedented summer drought which caused many rivers and lakes to dry up and affected agriculture and the supply of water to urban areas throughout the Balkans and much of Europe. Meteorologists said extreme weather changes can be attributed to climate change. Next up in sports, Liverpool top with win at Palace. The Southern Tigers have snapped up former Real Madrid ace Jose Rodriguez Ruiz to further strengthen their squad. And the signing of the Spanish footballer, who will don the number 33 jersey, was announced via a video clip uploaded to the Johor Southern Tigers Facebook page. The video clip was also accompanied by a caption stating that the 31-year-old had featured for some of the biggest clubs, including Paris Saint-Germain and Sampdoria, and in the top divisions. The club stated that the two-time UEFA Champions League winner is now part of JDT family. JDT had previously signed up several new players, including Jorge Obregon, Enzo Lombardo, Iker Unda-Barana, and Eddie Israfilov, who have all made their debuts in the Malaysia League. Diogo Jota's early goal was enough to give Liverpool a tight 1-0 victory at Crystal Palace and ensure the Reds go into the international break top of the Premier League. The Londoners started the game sharply and had the ball in the net inside 30 seconds only for Eddie Nketiah's deft finish to be ruled offside. Liverpool then took the lead with their first real attack in the 9th minute when Cody Gakpo ran on to Konstantinos Tsimikas' through ball down the left. He centred for Jota, who breezed past Palace debutant Trevor Chalobah to poke home from close range and record his 4th goal of the season in all competitions. Liverpool have 18 points with City and Arsenal on 17. Crystal Palace meanwhile remain winless with 3 points from 7 league games. Meanwhile, Mateo Kovacic scored either side of half-time to fire Manchester City to an entertaining 3-2 victory over Fulham at Etihad Stadium as the hosts kept their grip on second place in the Premier League standings. While City dominated possession early on, Fulham grew into the game and were first on the score sheet when Andres Pereira stabbed it home in the 26th minute after a crafty backheel from Mexican Raul Jimenez. City equalised 6 minutes later when Fulham struggled to clear a corner and the ball fell to Kovacic, who took one touch before firing it in. The midfielder grabbed his second in the 47th minute when he latched onto a pass from Jack Grealish and rifled home another terrific finish from the edge of the area. Jeremy Doku gave City a 2-goal lead in the 82nd minute with a rocket into the top corner for the Belgians' first goal of the season. Rodrigo Muniz pulled one back for the visitors in the 88th minute with a shot from 15 yards out that deflected off John Stones and into the roof of the net. However, City held on to win against a Fulham side that would have been disappointed to leave without a point. Moving on to tennis, Novak Djokovic fought through 2 tie-breaks to make his way into the 3rd round of the Shanghai Masters. And the Serbian beat American Alex Michelson in a thrilling 2-set match that finished 7-6, 7-6. Four-time Shanghai champion Djokovic did not have it quite so easy against 43rd ranked Mickelson, introduced as the greatest of all time. As he walked onto the court, he received a rapturous welcome from the packed stadium. But Mickelson started the first set strongly, breaking Djokovic early and going 1-4 up to the displeasure of the crowd, fully behind the 37-year-old former world number one. To their delight, the Serbian levelled and then hit his stride in the tiebreak, winning it 7-3. The reverse happened in the second set when it was 20-year-old Mikkelson's turn to catch up to take it to the tiebreak. Djokovic held his nerve in the decisive tiebreak after saving set points to close out the win after 1 hour and 55 minutes. Joining Djokovic in the third round in Germany's Alexander Zverev as the second seed beat Italy's Matteo Berlucci 6-4, 6-2 to advance after withdrawing from the China Open due to pneumonia last week. The 27-year-old won his first match in Shanghai since 2019 in 1 hour and 36 minutes. Competing in his first match since the Lever Cup in September, Zverev showed some signs of rust early on and made 12 unforced errors in the first set. Berlucci, playing his maiden Masters 1000 event, gave the German a good fight by saving 6 of 7 break points. Eventually, Zverev's experience prevailed as he broke the spirited lefty in the 7th game to take the lead. As the match progressed, the 22-time tour level titleist found his groove and made only 2 unforced errors in the second set. Zverev broke the Italian twice and surrendered only 2 points in serve in the set. Overall, he made 71% of his first serves and won 83% of his first serve points. He will next face either Jordan Thompson or Thailand Griekspoor in the third round. Reigning champion Francesco Bagnaia won MotoGP's Japanese Grand Prix sprint after leader Pedro Acosta crashed out with 4 laps to go, reducing his gap with championship leader Jorge Martin, who finished 4th, to 15 points. Rookie Acosta, who took pole earlier in the day, had overtaken Bagnaia on the third lap to take the lead but lost control near turn 7, losing the opportunity to win his first MotoGP sprint. Bagnaia, who moved to 357 points ahead of today's race, fought off second-place Ducati teammate Enea Bastianini by 0.181 seconds amid occasional rains in Motegi. Pramac Racing's Martin, who started from the 11th position on the grid after crashing during the qualifying session, started well to take the 5th position in the first lap, facing pressure from Marc Marquez, who eventually overtook him. Marquez, who lost his lap record for going off track in the qualifying session, momentarily took second place from Bastianini, but he recovered to leave Marquez third. 4 race weekends remain after today's Grand Prix in Japan. Pramac rider Martin is looking to win his first MotoGP championship after finishing second behind Ducati's Bagnaia last year. From ancient Peru throne to construction robot, take a look at amazing offbeat stories this week. Archaeologists in northern Peru have uncovered evidence that could point to a woman ruling in a coastal valley during the ancient Moche culture over 1,300 years ago, including a used throne and scenes in elaborate wall paintings. Archaeologists found a pillared throne room lined with murals showing a powerful woman intertwined with sea creatures and representations of a crescent moon sitting on a throne and receiving visitors. Evidence such as human hair and stone erosion indicated the throne was occupied by a real person. Archaeologists believe the throne room dates from the 7th century AD, a time when the Moche culture occupied the coastal valleys of northwestern Peru. Archaeologists discovered a nearby room overlooking a square they dubbed the Chamber of the Braided Serpents, due to a mural of a figure with legs intertwined with snakes, a motif that has not previously been uncovered. The room has other murals showing warriors, anthropomorphized weapons, and a monster chasing a man. The findings were made at the Panamarca site near the Pacific coast and over 400 kilometers north of the capital, an area famous for its colorful murals. A new way of building an entire house using cheap, abundant, sustainable materials without cement could help the whole industry reduce its carbon footprint. Developers at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology have developed a robot that can 3D print a wall using something called impact printing, where a mixture of building material is layered to create walls without the need for form work.
So impact printing is an interdisciplinary collaboration combining architecture and robotic fabrication with autonomous robotic systems and also material science and specifically materials for sustainable construction.
The technique uses a unique approach to 3D printing in which a robot shoots lumps of building material downwards at a speed of 10 meters per second, bonding the lumps together on impact and gradually forming a wall. The process differs from traditional 3D printing because there is no need to wait for the previous layer to dry before the next can be applied, allowing for more efficient construction. The process is designed to make sustainable building materials more cost competitive and uses an earth-based mixture, which includes locally sourced building site waste with a minimal amount of additives. As Nigeria celebrated its 64th year of independence, artist Odunayo Faponuhunda unveiled a monumental art piece, Guardian of Unity, crafted from over 800,000 construction nails. The 20 by 28 feet installation, which took Fapunda and his team 50 days to complete, convey a message of pain, strength, hope, and unity.
I've been looking up to a better Nigeria. So when I became an artist, it gave me a better room to speak. This is the best way I can speak.
Using the pointillist method, Fapahunda started by drawing out his intended character, then hammered each nail to form intricate patterns. He finished the artwork with an anti-rust spray. The artwork features 37 faces, including past leaders such as Nnamdi Azikiwe and Amadou Bello, as well as sports legend Rashidi Yekini, representing each state and the federal capital. Fapahunta explained that the nail symbolized both the country's current pains and its inherent strength. Nigeria has long struggled with insurgency and attacks by armed gangs who kidnap for ransom in the north, where poverty levels are higher. And that wraps up World Today. In our top story, huge explosion shakes Beirut as Israel launches more strikes. And tune in to Malaysia Tonight, coming up at 8:30 p.m. on TV1 and saluran Berita RTM. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'm Ronnie Fong. Thanks for watching and have a pleasant afternoon.